Hello and welcome to a new roundup video. I will talk about 5 palettes I have been using recently, and this will be some kind of a speed up review of all of them because I try so much products all the time, and I'm sure that you also like this concept because sometimes we don't want to watch 1 hour video about just one specific product. And of course I will leave down in the timestamps which palettes I'm reviewing, so if you are just curious about one specific palette you can click on the timestamp and check that review or that part of the video if you want to. Per usual, I will show you the swatches and all the looks I've been creating with the palettes, so you can get a good idea of how the product performs and how they look on the eyes and also how they look on the arms. As in swatches, I mean. Alright, without no further ado, I will talk about the palette that I'm wearing on my eyes today. It's by Laced with Cherry. It's the Idol palette. It's such a fun and interesting color story that contains both darker shades but also some more spring-like neon shades. I personally find it to be a quite unique color story because I haven't seen a lot of neon palettes that has darker shades in it. The palette also has 1 row with shimmers. They are very pretty, they are sparkly and quite shifty, but they are on the drier side, so if you have oily lids or problems with tweezing, I think that you will really enjoy this palette. Overall, I find that the palette performs really nicely. I have been enjoying the looks I've been creating with it, but I find that the matte formula needs to be built up because it's not the most pigmented. Despite that the mattes are a little bit lighter in pigment, they still work on darker skin. I know this for a fact because the brand owner actually has a darker skin tone, and I have seen a lot of beautiful looks on her. It looks really nice and it looks pigmented on her skin tone too, and that really makes me happy because we really need more pigmented eyeshadows that doesn't look ashy on darker skin tones. And it's of course hard for me to determine that, so I'm really glad when I see swatches on darker skin because it's not something I can see when I look on the swatches on my skin. And next up we had a Kryptein Cosmetics Burnt Forest palette. It's such a grungy, lovely palette, and as soon as I saw it revealed I knew that I really had to have it in my collection because I'm really into those kinds of murky tones, muted tones, and especially together with those super intense sparkly shimmers. It was a no-brainer for me, to be honest. And I'm so happy to report that this palette really gives. It's really worth the price. I really enjoy the formula. It's so good. Both the mattes and the shimmers are spectacular, and this is a new brand, so I'm really excited to see what they will release in the future. They have 2 single shades too in their current collection, but I think that they will expand with more products along the lines as time goes, or whatever you say in English. So all in all, I have had a blast creating looks with this palette, and I'm honestly a little bit sad that I have to put it away because I have other stuff I need to try. That's the problem when you have a lot of makeup. But anyway, I highly recommend this palette if you have been looking at it and if you have been thinking about getting it. I also love the beautiful packaging. It's holographic, it feels really luxurious. Another thing that I really love with this palette is that it is magnetic, so you can curate your own color stories or put it in another magnetic palette and create your own color stories, so to say. That's really a big plus in my book. I really enjoy palettes that you can switch out the shades in case you need to bring it when you're traveling or something like that. The matte black is super pigmented, and that's great when you want to deepen up your looks. The only thing that I maybe have a little bit critique around is that 2 of the shimmers are somewhat similar. They are on the more transparent side, which means that they works more like toppers on the lids, and therefore they won't give that much of a different effect, but I still enjoy both of the shades. But if it was up to me, I maybe would have done something different with at least 1 of the shades. And the shades I'm talking about is the shades called Matinal and Dawn. Here is a close-up of the 2 shades that I think is a little bit too similar, but I mean, they are both really pretty. I also have to mention that there is a couple of different shimmer formulas. Some of the shades are the more flaky creamy formula and the other shades are more, I wouldn't say dry, but they are on the They are at least drier than the creamy ones, if you get what I mean. Overall, I think that you will be really happy with this palette if you are into the color story, because the quality really is there in my opinion. Next up is the Electrum Cosmetics Heartbreaker 2 palette. It's a 9-pan palette that consists of all shimmers. They are very dimensional, they are multichromes, and some of them are even holochromes. So it's such a cool palette. The colors are strikingly gorgeous. I absolutely love this formula. I can't praise it enough. The only problem I have with Electrum Cosmetics is that the product sells out very fast. It's a one-woman business, so she can't produce as many products that other bigger companies can do, and that's something that you need to keep in mind when you buy from smaller companies. I know for a fact that she did restock some of the palettes today as I'm filming this, but I'm sure that they already have sold out because people are buying them like crows, or you know, those birds who takes everything. I don't know the word in English. I think it's crow. If I should describe this formula, I would say that it's creamy without being too creamy. Like, they don't crease on my lids, and I don't think they will crease on someone with oily lids. But I can't confirm that for sure since I don't have oily lids myself. But if you have tried Electrum Cosmetics shimmers and have oily lids, please tell me if you have issues with this kind of formula. And the last thing I have to say is that the Electrum Cosmetics holographic shades is some of the most intense and beautiful in my whole collection. I think this might be my new favorite palette from Electrum Cosmetics up to date, but I know that she is working on a new collection and I'm super excited to see it. I have only seen some small sneak peeks and it looks very promising, and I'm super excited to see the full reveal of it. Until then, this will be my favorite palette from the brand. And next we have a palette from Ladybug Glow. It's the Criatura palette, and I have to say that I was so blown away when I saw the color story. It's muted, it's bright, it's vibrant, it's fun, it's so interesting in my opinion. It's really up my alley. I really love this kind of color story, and I think this is my favorite from the brand like ever. The formula is also very good. It is the best formula that the brand ever has had before. I feel like the mattes has improved a lot in this palette, and the shimmers are so good, especially the first shade that is called Epic. It's a very beautiful and intense holographic shade. I love it so much. But unfortunately Ladybug Glow is taking a small break right now, so I hope that she will come back soon because we miss you so much. We miss your lovely color stories and concepts, and I hope that everything is well with you. Amanda, as the owner is called. And last but not least, I will talk about the Nomad Cosmetics New Zealand Stargazing palette. It was a long name to remember for someone who doesn't have any memory at all. I actually got this palette through the brand's Starfish program, which is a program that the brand has where people can basically nominate people to get one palette of their choice, and some people nominated me, and I'm so grateful and thankful for everyone who did that. I can't express with words how much it means to me, because it wasn't only the fact that I did win this palette, but also that people think so highly about me, because the comments was so lovely. They wrote about how I was a light in the beauty community on Instagram, and it really made me feel warm in my heart. And as someone who has been in this community for so long, it really means a lot to me when I get this kind of feedback, because I'm always trying to make people feel welcome and like they belong to the community, because I know how hard it is when you maybe don't have friends in the beginning and for some reason just are alone as a person. And I think that we have built up such a nice community on Instagram, and I'm so proud of it. It's of course not only because of me, that would be quite crazy if it was, but I think that we have connected in such a nice way, and we have been able to build a nice bond because of the sake of or love of makeup, but also finding a way to become friends, even if we maybe are quite different, and I love that so much. Anyway, end of the rant. Now I will talk about the Nomad Cosmetics New Zealand Stargazing palette. And when I first saw this palette, I was thinking, this is an interesting color story, but will I really love it? Because I'm not someone who really loves blues that much, to be honest, but which is kind of ironic when I'm wearing blue on my eyes today, but that's how it is. I feel like every time I say that I don't like blue, I'm wearing something blue on myself. But I actually love turquoise. Okay, I will stop rambling. I wasn't sure about this color story at first, but when I did see it in person, I was like, aha, I have so much inspiration, and I really felt inspired when I saw this. And I have been so excited every time I have been creating looks with it. The formula is really good. I feel like it is maybe the best formula that Nomad Cosmetics has ever had, especially when it comes to the shimmers. They are really emollient, I think the correct word is, and they really glides on the lids. They are really reflective and they look really beautiful. There is also a couple of multichromes, or I would say all of the shimmers are multichromes, except maybe for the iridescent shade. And yeah, they are just so beautiful, and I really love the matte selection. It's a quite unique color story, and I think that's why I love it so much. And I'm not sure if this is my favorite palette from Nomad Cosmetics, but it's definitely up there. It's probably top 2, top 3 at least. It's such a beautiful palette in my opinion. And if you're interested in this one, I would say run and don't sleep on it, because it's so good. This was all for this video. I hope that you did enjoy it. I have so many ideas of what I want to talk about next, so it feels really good for me to be able to do this short format of the reviews, even though that some of you maybe prefer the longer and deep reviews. Of course I will do a mix of them, but I felt like I really need to go through all of those palettes so I can move on with my life finally. Consider to subscribe if you are into indie makeup or colorful makeup or crazy makeup overall. I hope to see you soon. Bye bye. They are sheen because the packaging can